Good morning, everyone. So welcome back. I believe this is week 3 or this is week 4 of our webinar series. And absolutely, so we'll share our company info. But as you said, I'm Joshua Reed, founder of a tech company called Influ, software automation for social media. We launched our 2.0 software last week, and we're running through our beta right now. So you pretty much can use our platform to automate your content, captions, and posting in under 10 minutes for the entire month. So you guys are more than welcome to try it out. It's free. Let's go to influ.com. I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, you can sign up and get started right away. So the app is free for the rest of the month. And then we're taking your feedback and then doing agile development to continuously keep the platform up to date and to get it to where it's perfect before we release it to the public market. So, but as far as today, we are focusing on, let me share my screen. 1 second. There we go. All right. Perfect. So everyone can see. Yes. So today everyone can see my screen, right? So let me make sure. Yes, yes. Okay. All right, perfect. So today we're focused on advanced email marketing. And so this course, it would teach you how email marketing is an incredible, powerful way to bring new and recurring business back to your website. And then I'm going to be showing you how to create email marketing campaigns that really sell. So on the right-hand side, see the topics that we're going to cover. Now, if you've been to our previous webinars, I love to see returning attendees, let us know down in that chat box. But I like to take my time with the content that I'm teaching you. Last week we built the website from scratch, showed you step by step. And, the reviews were 5-star reviews. And, so, we're going to continue at that pace and to continue at that style of facilitating these webinars. And so the topics we're going to cover today is building and uploading a list. So I've created a dummy list or a John Doe list of first and last names and some, and some demo accounts, so I can show you how to upload those lists and kind of segment based on the customer profile. And then choosing a campaign objective. So take you from A to Z, how to go from an email list and have an agenda, and then how to create that email based on an objective and bottom line, and then building your message, and then launching your campaign. And then last but not least, automating your email campaign. So what I mean by automating is, let's say on your website, you have a subscribe to our newsletter, and a person, puts the email in or their first and last name and email and hits submit, and it says, thank you for subscribing. Maybe you want an email to go out right after that happens. So, so that subscription triggers an email to automatically go out. Otherwise, you have to keep going in and manually emailing each subscriber. So you can use your email campaigning platform to send those automations. And we have that on our website. So when you sign up, you'll get just a notification you signed up. You'll get a welcome email, and then you get another email with tips and tricks and best practices. So everything will automatically go out, in a span of a couple of minutes. And another one that's not listed that I want to share in this particular webinar is how to assure your emails are getting delivered. And this is more on the advanced side. This is advanced email marketing, to where you're going into some of your email settings. So maybe you got your email from GoDaddy. If you're using Wix, we used Wix last week. They have their own email settings. Maybe you're using another platform like Cloudflare. So whoever is hosting your email domain, what I'm going to show you today is pretty much standard protocol across all platforms. And then a couple of house rules, right? So number one is interact with the webinar. So I see, Ms. Deborah, we have a couple of attendees commenting and responding. That's exactly what we like to hear. There's only 2 slides. We like to do live demonstrations because I'm one that I learn by watching and not just by listening to somebody, run through slides and talk to me for an hour. So I like to do live demonstration. Another reason why is because this is on demand. So if you have to step out, halfway through, you can always come back and put up 2 monitors or, have 2 screens and just kind of watch what I'm doing and emulate it. And then secondly, ask questions, right? So I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been in the digital space. I'm an engineer by trade. I've been programming, developing for quite some time. And it took me a while to be able to do it fast, but also to be able to teach it to where someone who's never done it before can understand it by the time I'm done. And that's my goal. And last but not least, don't be hard on yourself, be patient. It's going to take some time. Today, I would say on a scale from 1 to 5, as far as difficulty, I'd say, this is like hovering around I would say about a 2 to 3, right? Wix, I would say a 5, because Wix, there's a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of moving parts. But this one is pretty much standard, and there's a lot of steps that prevent you from getting lost. And so I would say a 2 to 3, but don't be hard on yourself. If you don't get it, come back, try it again, and eventually you'll master it. And you can start experimenting as well. So, let me know how you're feeling this morning. You got your coffee? Do you have your tea? I had some oolong tea this morning. I'm trying some different teas. I had another one from China. It's called, well, for the sake of the on-demand replay, I won't say the name of what it's called, but it's a green tea, very potent green tea. When I say potency, I mean caffeine. And but yeah, it's loose leaf tea, so it doesn't come in a bag. Yeah, it ends with powder. I don't know if you remember back in the day, they had the muskets and they had to put they had to dump a little bit of that powder in there, and then they load it up. So that's the name of the tea. And yeah, so it's really good. I got the new coffee warmer right here, so we good to go. But you're ready to learn? You ready to get to it? Let me know. Let me know. Let me see. Y'all ready? Use the keyboard. That little box in front of you with the letters on it. Just punch a couple of those keys and let me know you're ready to go. All right, perfect. Because I got a lot of energy. I'm trying to, I don't want to put too much out there. Let's get to it. All right. So the example I'm going to be using today is a constant contact. Okay. And we're going to start from scratch. So constant contact, the reason why I'm using it too, because they have a 60-day free trial. So if you want to, all right, perfect. I see everybody focus. What's going on, Chuck? I see you. So if you want to use the demo today, you can go to Constant Contact and sign up and just sort of mimic what I'm going to show you right now, right? So here is the standard, this is the standard dashboard of Constant Contact where you're going to see everything. So at the top, you see you got your library, which is your library of content. You can do different integrations with your website. You can do some social scheduling posts, or maybe doing Shopify, WooCommerce, Zapier. Zap is a whole nother webinar in itself. We use some Zaps. So it allows you to create triggers when they don't exist. And then you can do some social, you can do some websites and stores. If you don't have a website, you can build it through Constant Contact. You do sign-up forms as well. Reporting is all your analytics. Every single webinar we do, we always discuss analytics and reporting, because that's very important. You can see your metrics, who's opened your email, who's received it, who's opened, who's clicked. You can kind of really just drill down as far as your open rate and your click rate. And if you got a very high open rate, then that's great. Keep doing what you're doing. You have a very low open rate to kind of figure out why that is and make those tweaks so you continuously get better. But here's where you house your contacts. Now your contacts, here you can create a list, right? So let's say advanced email webinar. So here's where we can segment your contacts. So we've created a list called advanced email webinar. So we want to get everyone's email that attends today and drop it into this list. Now, for the sake of this webinar, I'm not going to show you email, so you have to worry about that. I have a demo email list of fake names and email addresses that I'm going to be using. But for the sake of this demo, you can create a list and you can add these contacts. You can create a new contact where you can type it in one by one. You can type and paste contacts, and you can upload a file. So what I'm going to be showing you is how to upload a file, move more efficiently. Rather than typing in 50 names and emails, you can put in an Excel sheet and just upload that Excel sheet. It has some AI that's going to read the first name column, last name, email columns, and then automatically integrate it into here for you. So I'll walk you through this later. And then we have campaigns, right? Now, this is where the magic happens. So The agenda is building and uploading a list. So since we're already there, let's go to contacts, right? And so I've already created advanced email webinar list. So I'm gonna create another one. And let's call this webinar demo list. No, I'm gonna change this. Demo list for 3, what's today's date? 10 webinar. All right, because I want to know who was at the webinar on 310, and this is the list of those people. Now, I'm going to go here. Let me show you the list I've already created for you. This is important too. And if you have any questions, I'm checking the chat and the Q&A going back and forth. Just drop your questions in the chat or Q&A, and I'll always address them along the way. Just create some dialogue. So here's that list that I've created. All right. Now this is important because in this list, I've segmented first name, last name, and email. All right. So that's it. And then I saved it under advanced email marketing email list. All right. So we have this. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to upload this Excel file into Constant Contact, and it's going to segment everything for me. And it's going to show me just a snapshot to make sure that the content is in the correct space. I say yes, and it will take care of the rest. So let's go to add contact. Let's go to upload file. Yes, you can apply. So that's a great question, Norman. So I asked the question, can I apply this web training to Mailchimp? And the answer is absolutely. So absolutely. So you have Mailchimp, you have Campaign Monitor, you have Constant Contact. There's a number of different email campaign providers, but the process is pretty standard across the board. Where you do it is what's going to differ, but how you do it is going to be the same. So browse computer, or you can do this too. Drag and drop. So I think I'm going to do here. So let me find this email list. Let's drag it there. Watch the magic. Perfect. So remember in Excel, we had our first name column, last name, email. And I like to segment it in the Excel file to make it easier here so things aren't getting lost or confused because, you know, let's say I didn't add the first, last email. It's going to easily pick up the email, but you have some people that have, you know, 2 first names, or maybe you don't remember first and last names, and everything gets mixed up. And the reason why that's a problem is because when we create this email, they have a feature where you can do dear first name, and then the provider is going to automatically fill in first name with the first name of every contact in your list. So if you've mixed the last name with the first name, it's going to say dear, you know, my last name is Reed. It may say dear Reed, you know, hope you're having a wonderful day, as opposed to saying dear Joshua. So when it says dear Reed, it feels a little less personal, like somebody didn't take their time. They made sure that the email was correct before they sent it out. So I just don't want you to make that mistake moving forward. You want to make sure it says dear Harley well, I don't know how to pronounce that, but dear Christopher as opposed to dear Parrish, right? So just add that into Excel before you upload it, and that way you can minimize the errors you make it. And then what you want to do is click continue. And I want to add this email list to demo list for 310 webinar. It's the one that we just made, remember? So if you don't want it to go there, you can always click a different one, or you can click every list and add it. But for this demo, we created demo list for 310 webinar. We're going to add those 50 emails and contacts to this particular list. You can also tag them as well. So what I mean by tags, you can say, maybe you have multiple demo lists from 310. So of that webinar, you had, you know, registered, attended, showed interest. And so you can create a list. You can put all the emails into your demo 310 webinar and then upload each list one by one to the same. And that way you can segment them by registered, attended, and showed interest. Or you can create 3 different demo lists, 310 webinars, and just tag them with registered, attended, and showed interest. So that's why these tags are very powerful, because it allows you to segment within the list that you've created. I'm gonna hit upload. Boom, that's it, right? So we've created this list here. So these are all this, so you see we got the right first names and the right last name, then we have the email addresses. Now, the part to add here is company name. Now, sometimes, company name is not as common as first, last email. But in any event, if you have their company names, you can also add that as a column in your Excel file and put the company names associated with the correct person, and it will automatically read that as well. So you can also upload company names. And then again, you can say, dear, my company's called Influ. You can say, dear Influ, below we're doing 50% off for the rest of April. I think this would be a great value add for your company. You can do that, right? So the question is, yes, you can add a company name, but for this demo, we're just sticking with first, last, and email. All right, so that's it, it's done. So we can come back to our contacts, okay? And you can see in this particular contact list, it shows the 50 different emails. If you want to favorite it, that way it's always at the top. You can go in here, look at these emails. You can always click into a particular email, right? And you can always edit. You can see when they subscribe and when they unsubscribe. You can also see when they unsubscribe. And sometimes it provides a reason why. You can see the reason why. You click the engagement. Their engagement is, what percentage of emails that you sent to them that they open. And then of the open emails, what is their click percentage? Is this a particular subscriber that often clicks? And this is all part of your CRM, your customer relationship management. So you can see all this information within one particular subscriber. And then you also can add notes. So you can say, wow, this person has a high open rate. They're always clicking and attending, but they haven't signed up yet. Let's reach out to them personally and see, what could be the reason why, or let's send them a coupon to see if we can get them into our sales funnel and perhaps convert them into a customer. So this just allows you to get very detailed. So again, invest your time where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. If you have the time to manage each individual subscriber to do that, then great, you're firing on all cylinders. But if not, you can get a lot of information from the details and engagement. And then if you got extra time, drop some notes in there as well. Okay. Now let's go to any questions on this part before I move forward. Drop them in the chat. If not, if you're good to go, we're gonna go ahead and jump to the next one. Says choosing a campaign objective. No, looks good. All right, perfect. And then while I'm here, let me just go ahead and drop this into the chat or virtually or visibly. While we love doing these webinars, right? And we like being engaging, it always helps, if you appreciate what you're learning here, if you appreciate the flow and the cadence and how the information is getting delivered, it really helps when you let that reflect in the chat area. If you're enjoying this webinar so far, let us know, because this really helps for us to continue to scale, what we're doing. Last year we had 11, we had raving reviews. This year we upped it to 19. We're looking to up this the next year and maybe do 25 or 30. So please let that reflect down. We don't send out, formal surveys, but if you can let that reflect down in the chat, we'll be good to go. Let me see here. No, you don't need to use Excel. I'm glad you asked that question. So you don't need to use Excel. If you use something like, what is it called? What is it called in Mac world? It's not Excel. What is it? You guys know what I'm talking about. Open Office, but there's a Mac version. I'm on a Mac. I just never use it. Let me see. You have, man, what is it? Wow. Numbers. So in the Mac world, it's called Numbers. right? So numbers, yeah, numbers, it all works the same as Excel. So you can drop that same file over into Constant Contact or Mailchimp if you're using Mailchimp, and it's going to work the same exact way. Just make sure, you have it segmented first, last, email, and company. If you're adding companies, make sure you have that information in there. It's going to work the same exact way.
Joshua?
Yes.
There's a question.
Mhm.
Let's see. Is this webinar going to be about email marketing in general or more focused on using the Constant Contact platform?
So it's email marketing in general. So as I shared, this is pretty standard across the board. But what we're doing is part of marketing. So the marketing is segmenting your contacts, right? How do you track the metrics on these contacts? So we just went over how do you look at the data on a particular subscriber. So all of this is going to enhance your marketing, because if you have people subscribe to your list and you have a high unsubscribe rate, or you have a very low open rate, very low click rate, or the opposite, what we're doing is going to help you segment to be more efficient moving forward. We're just using Constant Contact as the example. We've been using Constant Contact for a while, so we're not advocating for it. You can use Mailchimp, you can use Campaign Monitor. They all work pretty much the same way. We're just using Constant Contact as the platform to show you how to do it. Okay, so now let's go to the campaigns. Now in this particular area, there's two campaigns we're going to be focusing on. Okay, you click create, and here you get a couple of different options. Okay, so today we're focusing on the email itself and then the email automation. So let's create this quick email. Now here's where they give you a number of different templates. So if you're on a different platform, they're going to give you a number of different templates. And depending on the branding and style of your company itself is going to determine, the type of email campaign that you're going to put together. So if you're someone that's in, baking or food or e-commerce, maybe a nonprofit, you want to make sure you choose something that relates closely to your brand. So, we're more in the tech software space, which is bubbly, but it's still very clean. And so, we perhaps would use something like this, where you can place the image, you have sort of that call to action tag at the top. Here's the title of your body in the body of the email. Here's where you're going to put your information. Maybe we're going to add some links and add some social contacts as well. And I can click here and kind of see, what is it going to look like on a mobile phone as well, because you want to make sure that it looks good mobile. And also in your data, you can see our majority of your contacts opening and reading your emails on your mobile phone, or they're opening and reading emails on a desktop. And if you get, 80% on a desktop, then more of your content is going to cater more towards making sure it looks really good on a desktop monitor. All right, so let's go here. While we were there, let's see, let's use this one. So what I did was I just simply clicked it, okay? So here's what happened. So remember, if you attended the website webinar we did last week, you got a template and it puts you in a position to be able to drag and drop, double click and edit. And it's the same exact way. And again, today's webinar is not about Canva, but we're going to use Canva to find an alternative photo to drag and drop into here so I can show you how that works. All right, so here you have perhaps your call to action. Okay, so here's going to be the first thing that captivates the audience. And also when you get that email, if you don't have a pre-header, this is going to be first line they're going to see. First line of text in your email is what they're going to see. So you can have that pre-header, and that subject is something that you want to get that user to act immediately. So that subject is very important. And there's a lot of research out there that shows you how to pick a great subject line. But you want to make sure it's something that prompts action. You have a scarcity tactic. You have the aspiration tactic, which is, let's say like for a gym, right? Lose 50 pounds, start your year by losing 50 pounds. And, I'm trying to lose weight. So you're going to open it, as opposed to, buy a gym membership today. It's two different types of emotions when you're reading it. So look at the time, look at your market, and also survey sample emails that work within that particular industry, which is health and wellness. So that subject is, spreading the word is very generic, but it prompts you to maybe say, okay, well, what word are you spreading? And you have some people that say, do not read this, right? And so, somebody like myself, okay, it may prompt me to open it, because just saying, do not read it. So I may go ahead and try to read it. So your subject line is something that's gonna draw that audience in. So, Backyard Pen is a live streaming service. So I can say,
Joshua,
yes.
can you just show how you got to, did you click on the subject line and then
Yeah.
you came to the email settings? Okay.
Yeah, you just
All right.
come in this particular area and click.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
going to
you.
bring this up. So everything you see here, how you get it's going to involve, a click. It's going to bring that up. Same here, replace all the text. Everything will involve you. All you simply have to do is click on it. You can also edit, which I'll talk to you about a little later. And then down here as well, you can click, edit, and you can put in your social media handles there. All right, so Backyard Panda is the demo that we're using, streaming platform. Let me see. So you may put something like stream, your business worldwide for free. You can add something like this. You can even add an emoji. There you go. All right. Now in your pre-header, you can say sign up today. Or you could put something like, enjoy today. But I'm going to use sign up today. And down here is where you're going to have your from and reply to address. Now, in this one, this is another important note to make here. When you're sending out emails, have you ever received an email from like a Best Buy or Macy's or any store that you typically shop at? You're getting emails and it says no-reply at Macy's.com. And what that is saying is it's prompting us as the person that received the email that if I reply to the email, 99.9% of the time, I'm not going to get a response because it's telling you this is a no reply email. So in other words, if you want to contact us, go to the website in the proper contact protocol. You could do the same thing, but in order to do that, you have to create an additional email under wherever you host that email domain. So if you're hosting with GoDaddy, if you're hosting with Bluehost or HostGator or Cloudflare, wherever you're hosting that email domain, you have to go in and create an additional email in order to be able to select that from here. Otherwise, if you're sending it from your personal email, which is fine, but just keep in mind that when people respond to that email, it's just good business practice to respond back. But if you want to showcase that if a person responds and not going to get a reply, then you want to perhaps add another email, which is at no-reply at Macy's.com. So you can go check your emails right now. Any major organization that's sending you emails, 9 times out of 10 has that no reply email that is being distributed from. And you can add that here. You would simply just add another. You would type that email address in. It's going to send that email. It's going to send you a confirmation just to confirm you're the owner of that email. You hit confirm, and then it's going to allow you to select it as a from and a reply to address. So for the sake of this demo, we're just going to hit save. And you have stream your business worldwide, and then, for free, and then sign up today. So here's where you can add your tag headline, tell your friends about your recent photo session. Here I can say, share with your friends and receive 10% off, right? Something like that. Something's gonna put me in. And then we have this image. This doesn't really reflect live streaming. So let's jump on over to Canva. Let me see, is this new? No, okay. Is anyone familiar with Canva? Yes, no, okay. Let's go here. Yes, all right, perfect. So Canva, for those who aren't familiar with Canva, yeah, for those who aren't familiar with it, it's a very user-friendly version of Photoshop. And we're doing a webinar on this later. So make sure that you sign up for that, where I really dive into how to get real fancy with it. We're gonna start real basic, like what we're doing right now. There's something where we get real fancy. We're making flyers and brochures and you know, and comp cards and stuff like that. So, but definitely check that out. So what I like to do here, right, just to match the size of this image, let me do one thing. Because I don't think, yeah, I don't have this image. So I'm just gonna figure out what the size is. And what I'm doing here is taking a screenshot of this particular photo. All right. Says 641 by 349. Because I like to have an image that matches that size just to keep the same formatting. So let me go here. Says the dimensions.
So Joshua, it's Deborah. You can't figure out the dimensions like you did with Canva or Wix, where it will show
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, not from this one, because the difference between Wix and Canva is that, you know, I actually have that image here. So I don't have this image in my file. So I found this is a 641 by 349. You could do, I mean, this looks like a standard image. I'm just being more of a perfectionist, right? So you don't have to go into this much detail, but for the sake of a tutorial, if you're someone that likes to do that, I'm just showing you how I do it. So I will find out the dimensions of this photo, which looks like a standard landscape photo that you would find anywhere, right?
And you would do that by taking a screenshot?
Yeah, I took a screenshot on of this particular photo, and I just looked at the dimensions of it. So it shows you right here on the screen as well. So
Where
if I
is that?
take this cursor, let me zoom in. Right. So if I take this cursor, you see these numbers?
Oh, wow, they're really small. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little small, but for the set, I just want to make sure that it looks right for this particular demo.
Okay, thank you.
So this is not part of the tutorial, but if you want to know what I'm doing, I'm taking a screenshot to figure out the size. All right. I got this item that keeps jumping in the way. Okay, so we're gonna go create design, custom size, 641 by 359. Perfect. Now I'm gonna go to photos. Let's do live stream. I like this one. This is nice. Drag it over here, right? Download. I'm going to bump up the size a little bit so I know it's going to be HD. Download. Jump back over to the platform. Upload the image. Drag and drop. Always remember where you download your pictures and your files. Done. Now we're here, replace, select this file that we just did, hit insert, and that's it. All right. So here we can do tell your friends about live streaming services. And here's where you want to add the body of that particular email. Okay. Now there's another thing you have to be very cautious with. And I made this error that I have to correct, because there are certain keywords that will flag your email as potential spam, right? And one of those keywords is one that I've just used, free. So free is being registered under constant contact, even after we go through setting up your email to where it doesn't get flagged as spam, because there's some settings that you have to do in your DNS records. We'll talk about that here in the next 10 minutes. But if you use free too often throughout your email, then it's going to get flagged as spam. So there's certain keywords that you want to be careful not to overuse within your email. Otherwise, it'll get flagged as spam and it won't make it to the subscriber's inbox. And that's often what takes place. You can have 1,000 emails and you may see your open rate is 10%. Well, that's because the emails are being delivered, but they're not making it to the inbox of that particular subscriber. And sometimes it has a lot to do with your content. And a lot of the times it has a lot to do with your email settings, or maybe even the, let's use credit score or of your email account. So your email address has a score itself. So if you're sending out emails from your constant contact or Mailchimp, whatever you're using, and subscribers are continuously unsubscribing, continuously saying hitting it, this is spam, when they unsubscribe, then what happens is that's going to lower that email rating. So 9 out of 10, anytime you continue to send out emails, is going to continue to go to the spam folder. So you want to be cautious on overusing words like free or, sign up now. Got to just be, talk like a human and not talk like you're doing an oversell, and you'll be good to go. Can you see the Q&A there, Ms. Deborah? It's mine not popping up for some reason.
Yes, okay, there is a question that just came through. Let's see. I don't, wait a minute.
Sorry, you can't see it.
Oh, can I apply this web training to Mailchimp? You already answered that.
Yeah.
Is there a list on Google that will suggest words not to use?
Yeah, so let's just do a quick Google search. Let me see. Here you go, right here. You drop this down in the chat. Yeah, see here? It's like, I don't think anybody will put sleazy, but yeah, take action now. So a lot of these just to prompt those immediate triggers. Like I said, these words are not immediate flags, but if you overuse them in your email, then you're going to risk that your email will get flagged and go straight to the spam folder. So you can use words like order now. I mean, if you're e-commerce and you're putting products in your email, you can use things like order now because it makes sense, right? But if you overuse it, then that's where things can get a little spammy. So just be cautious with how you do that. And if you ever have any questions, these email providers, they have a helpline that you can always call, and they're usually pretty good with their support services, just to make sure that you're creating the best email campaign for your subscribers. Okay. So in creating email campaigns, it's that simple. Down here, if you want to add your social, you can click edit and add your social media handles. If you also want to make it easy for the end user to share, so say I received your email, I want to share it to my Facebook or my LinkedIn, you can switch it from follow and connect with us to share it directly to that LinkedIn page or Facebook or Twitter. So you can share this email campaign directly out. All right. So we have this here. For the sake of that, I'm going to take this for free out. I want to make sure I'm following best practices here. All right, so I'm seeing this because I'm using a free trial, but when you pay, you can send unlimited emails. So here, what you want to do is select, remember that list that we uploaded those 50 email contacts to? Let's select demo list here. Okay. We see the subject, we see the from name. You can always change that if you want to. You see the from and reply to. Again, remember that no dash reply email address that we talked about earlier. Then your physical address. Here's where you want to add your organization name, your address. So, maybe you have a PO box, or maybe you have a company address. You put that information here. It is required and mandatory. And that's it there. And then once you're ready to go, let's just go ahead and I'll put our office in. All right. Matter of fact, let's save. This is one thing I want to do first. I want to show you what you potentially would want to do before you get to that point, and that's always check and preview it. So we can see here what the email is going to look like. You can also see, and then that's our office address, unsubscribe. You can see what it's going to look like on mobile, which we talked about earlier. So everything looks great. Even if you want to send a test email, you could put in a test email that you want to send it to. And then there's constant contact, because there's a lot of people that already use it. But there's a lot of, with them, you have to contact them directly to remove their logo. So maybe you're fine with that. I know me personally, I don't like to have their email signature on our email campaigns that go out. So, you know, you call them and they have to do it internally. So they go on and flick a button and this logo will be removed from all of your emails. And I'm not sure. I think with Mailchimp, I use Mailchimp. You don't have to call them to do it. You can do it automatically within your settings. I'm not too sure about Campaign Monitor or the other ones, but I know for here, you got to call them. Mailchimp, you don't. And if you're using Campaign Monitor, I would just check the settings and see what you have to do to remove their logo. So hit continue, and then you can either send right now or you can schedule for later. And that's pretty much it. So any questions on this particular section of the agenda? Okay. No? Any questions? Y'all making this easy. I mean, either the information is getting relayed well, or we usually get a little bit more, more questions. But, again, like I said, as far as the difficulty level here, this is nowhere near compared to the webinar or even the social media analytics. So this is it's pretty clean and cut. But still, if you've never done it, then it could be a little difficult. But with this tutorial, I think you guys would be in pretty good shape. But here's where things, yes?
Okay, I was going to say, I don't see any questions. There is from Letta Davis.
Yeah, it says, oh, thank you. Let me see, none here. I believe all avenues are best to use. I'm not too hip on email marketing. Email marketing is still, it's almost like, it's like that conversation between, will we ever go back to in-person, meetings, or is there a huge difference between meeting in person? There's a huge difference. It's a huge difference, right? There's just nothing that can replace a physical handshake and making that eye contact with somebody and seeing whether they are really who they are or whether they're not, right? So, so even though it's email marketing may not be as powerful as that, it is still required in your marketing, and it's still very efficient, very powerful, as long as you're using these tools and mechanisms that I'm showing you, segmenting your emails, looking at the data, adding them to your CRM, because you got to think, the way to contact your buyer or your potential customers by way of what? Having their email address, which is why all of us are so protective over it, because we know that email address is how you get access to me. You don't have my number, but you have my email address. And as long as you have my email address, you can always contact me until I physically unsubscribe, which I'm not too good at that, right? So that's why I have, 14,000 emails in my inbox. So the email is very powerful. And the point of this is to show you how to really segment to get better at it, because a CRM is nothing without contacts. There's no such thing as a customer relationship management tool if I don't have your email. And every business has a CRM. Every successful business has a CRM. And they're taking each of our email addresses through a sales funnel to hopefully get us closer to converting into a potential customer. So I would definitely say get hip to it. Okay. It's a new tool, and yeah, just be consistent with it. Just like social media, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, and continuously work and get better at it. So that's why we're doing this today.
Joshua, Eileen has a statement. She says, maybe itemize all the pieces we need before logging onto Constant Contact. So I guess she's asking for a list of things that need to be done before you actually get into Constant Contact or whatever platform you're using?
There's nothing you need. You just sign up. You know, it is no list of items you need before you sign into Constant Contact. It's just what tools do you use when restructuring for the market on site? I'm not too sure I understand, Tracy. Need to rephrase that. I want to make sure. I don't want to pretend I understand and then not answer anything that you're actually asking me. And then while you're doing that, I want to show you quickly about the email automation, because this is another tool that can help you just put everything on autopilot.
I'm gonna let Tracy ask you that question directly.
Okay.
That's okay. Okay, Tracy, go ahead. You need to unmute Tracy. Oh, she wrote it in the.
I think it would save time to have the images, text for the message, etc. For instance, where you're doing any type of updating or making your site better. Are you understanding, Ms. Deborah?
No, I'm not under.
Okay.
Hold on.
So the email automation. And so here, just for the sake of time, I want to make sure we get through this last piece, is to do an email automation is the same thing as doing a regular email campaign. So you hit create. So we just did email. Here we want to do email automation. Now, email automation is going to work the same exact way as creating an email. And we're going to do an automated series for this one. So we're going to do welcome email for new contacts.
Okay, Joshua, it seems that everyone keeps going back to the same. They're looking for a list of items you need before you log in to create an email campaign. And I think what Joshua is saying is that everything that you need is in the platform that you're using to create the email campaign. Yeah. So, and I think Eileen is asking, for example, it would save time to have the images text for the message. So yes, I guess as far as any prep time, understanding what the message is that you want to convey before you actually go in and create the email campaign, that's something I think that you can do. But as far as a list, based on what you just shared with us, everything is within the platform itself. So I guess they're asking for a checklist, like, you know how the other webinars you've had a checklist.
There's no particular checklist, because every campaign is going to be different, right? I can say a checklist of having a picture, having there's no checklist, because you got to, what is your objective, right? Is your objective to promote your, 5 new items you're selling? Is your objective to do an announcement? The checklist for each thing is going to be different. But to save time and, it allows you to select a template campaign and you plug and play. So that's what I said. There's no particular checklist, because there's not one style of email every single time. It just really depends on what your objective is. And then from there, you can say, okay, here's what we're going to add into this particular email. But as far as, getting started with Constant Contact, you just simply need your name and your email address. But yeah, so if there was one, like with the website tutorial we did last week, there's a checklist, right? Because, in order to do a website, you always have to have a domain name, right? In order to do an email, you don't always have to have a picture. So so I get what you're saying, but, this is a different scenario than with developing your website, because there's some things you don't always have to have. So with this automated email, this is the same thing as creating an email, but there's a couple of different factors. Oh, let me go back, because I want you guys to see how we got here. So first, you want to select a trigger. So, and what selects a trigger, what they're saying is when action A happens, the result is going to be this. So here we're going to say when a contact joins a list, right? Now that list can be from your website subscribers list. Then the action, the result is going to be to send this email to that new person. All right. Okay. So we're going to say a contact joins a list. Now, remember, we connected our website to our demo list for 310 webinar. So whenever an email gets added to this particular list, this email is going to go out to that email. So it's a trigger, all right? And again, this is saving you time and stress to where you don't have to physically go in and say, okay, I had 5 new people join today. I need to top 5 separate emails. You have some people doing that because they don't know about this. This allows it to, I got a standard email that will always go out to a person that have subscribed to my list the first time. And that's just really showing that customer friendliness. Like I said, you know, on our platform, let me see, somebody just signed up right now. And, you know, yeah, somebody just signed up at 11:46. They already received 3 emails, and I'm on here, you know, teaching a webinar, and the team is focusing on the platform. No one is sending emails, and we're using this email automation, and every other platform has it too. And even if you're using Wix, you know, I went into Wix because Wix has an email automation that you can use. You can also link it to your constant contact form. They also have it for Mailchimp and Campaign Monitor. Jump over to the Q&A. Let's see, where's the Q&A at? Oh, okay. Is this webinar going to be about email marketing? Oh, okay, that's old. Oh, is there a free email service you recommend until you build your customer base before you start paying? Yeah, you know, I'm using Constant Contact. I don't want you guys to, I'm not affiliated with Constant Contact by any means whatsoever, right? I'm using them because I've been using Constant Contact for like 6 years, 6, 7 years. So I really understand the platform inside out. And also they have a 60-day free trial too. So I want to use something that if you don't have an email campaign system, I want to use something that you can go and try for a couple of months without paying anything. And Constant Contact has this 2-month free trial. So if you're looking for something to kind of get your feet wet and to practice with, jump on over to them. I don't get anything on the back end. I'm just using it as a demo. So I'm not like pushing them. If you want to try Campaign Monitor and they got a 2-month free plan, you could try them as well. And like I said, it's pretty much standard across the board on how the functions work. Just where the buttons are located is going to be a little bit different. It's just like Wix, Squarespace, Weebly. These are all website development platforms for, you know, that are user friendly. They all do the same thing. It just looks different. Just figuring out where things are. So here's where you can simply, you know, let's do, again, just like creating an email, you find a template that you like. So let's just keep it simple. Let's just collect this one. It says coronavirus, but let's just select this one. And we're going to say, you know, welcome to, you find a picture. We already have a picture here. This is one that we made earlier. I'm going to drag and drop that. Okay. You can make it bigger if you like, or you can keep it the same way. You can always customize the image, and how I did that, I just simply drag like this. And here's where you type your message. You can say welcome, right? And then if you want to really personalize it, you can do welcome, hello, first name. You can do this. Delete this part. So when you get real fancy. They're like, wow, you know, I just subscribed and a minute later, I got a welcome email. I love that. It's great customer support, great customer service. And then you type your message, okay?
Joshua.
Yes.
Fred has a question. He said frequency recommendations. He said they currently do a newsletter about once a month. Do you have a time of day that tends to work better?
Yeah, you know, those Tuesdays and Thursdays are really great days, around that 10, 11 o'clock time frame, a really great time to send out emails. And there's also industry standards, you know, that 20 to say 30% open rate is great. right? You're firing on all cylinders. You're not someone that's going to have an 80, 90% open rate unless you have, a small email list and you know everybody and you're looking for your emails every week. Um, but those Tuesdays and Thursdays are high time to send out those emails, roughly around that 10 or 11. The reason why Monday is not good because typically you're getting a lot of sales and promotional emails over the weekend. Not Sunday usually, but you're gonna get bombarded in that email junk, right? Where somebody just clocked in on Monday, they're cleaning out their emails, you're at the bottom of the list. So you want to make sure they've done that already. And then on Tuesday, when that email list is nice and fresh and clean, you send your email around 10 or 11 because they've gotten through their Tuesday morning emails and your email is fresh on top. So I would recommend sending on Tuesdays and Thursdays right around 10 or 11 in the morning, right before lunchtime. And like I said, that open rate, if you're hovering around 20 to 30%, you're doing an outstanding job. If you're low and at 8 to 10, you want to definitely work on looking at the analytics and the details of your subscribers and seeing why that is. If you got a lot of people unsubscribing, then maybe that content is not relevant. But if people are subscribing to your list, your email and open rate should be and deliverability rate should be pretty good. As far as frequency, you can kind of play around with it. It depends on the industry and the market that you're in. We send maybe 2, max 3 emails a week. And it's typically on the days where our users can expect a certain type of content. Like today we send out tips and tricks. Tomorrow we may do a webinar on our Facebook group. So it's just about the cadence of your audience. And that's why I'm telling you, really understand your audience and what they're looking for and why they signed up for you. And that's going to take you through that CRM. Because, we're in the tech space, but in the subscription space. So we have to, there's no being a subscription-based business model and not understanding your customer and the people that are using your platform. I see some names in here that look familiar and they provide a lot of great feedback to us. And we have them in a CRM, to make sure that, hey, this is the feedback they gave us on the 2nd, by way of email. We responded on the 7th by way of email. Here's the feedback. Here was the response. And then they gave us a 5-star rating saying that was great. We followed up with them and just taking them through that process. And I know what I'm showing is very tedious, but again, the more you do it, the better you will get. I've been doing this for a long time. And even I'm still learning things, but the learning curve is not as high. So just take your time and kind of get in a good flow and a good process. And you trust me, you'll be good to go. If you ever have any questions, you can always contact Ms. Deborah and she'll get to me. But to close off this email automation, make sure you update your subject and your pre-header, okay? So let's do that right now. Welcome to Tech. Okay, you continue. And that's it. And let's do activate. It's going to show you the draft. So when you hit activate, right? So I'm using a free account. So let me choose, oh, it's fine. No, I don't want to upgrade. I did not want to do that. But when you hit activate, it's going to take this from draft and it's going to say active. And when it says active, meaning edit this too, we want to send this immediately. But when you hit activate and you upgraded account, so every time a new contact goes to that list, because it's already linked to your subscription list, Constant Contact is going to automatically send that email out and you're good to go. So that was the last on this particular automated email campaigning. But like I said, I know it was a lot. This is on demand. You can always come back and watch it. If you felt you learned a lot today and you're pleased with the webinar, I see that a lot of people are already showing that in the chat box. If you haven't, definitely drop those recommendations and those reviews down in the chat right now before you head out. We really appreciate it. Again, we want to continue to scale this up. The next few webinars are going to be a little bit on the advanced side. Again, this is called advanced email marketing. So I want to make sure that you're getting what you came here for. And I hope you got it today. But Ms. Deborah, if you have any last words, I see people dropping those comments down in the chat box. We appreciate it. Ms. Deborah, where'd you go? Oh, okay.
I'm here. I can't see myself, but can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So I just want to thank everyone for participating today. And we do have webinars that will be every week. I cannot find my list. I pulled it up. Can you stop sharing? And then I think that's what it is. I think.
Oh, yeah.
If you stop sharing, I can pull up my list and let's see.
Nice.
Okay, so for next week, we have advanced video conferencing. So please log on and participate in that. You can go on our website and register for that. And I'm pretty sure that you have all received an email campaign as it relates to that as well. So let me see if I can if I can get back in. Okay.
You can share now.
Okay, hold on.
And if you're still here, if you got any questions, I'm not rushing to get out of here at 12. Drop the question in the chat too. We'll answer before you go, before she finishes.
Okay, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, but anyway, I can't get my video back. So anyway, I just want to thank everyone. It's 12:02. Thank you so much for joining us today and participating in this webinar. Again, we have webinars every week until the end of June. So it's our technical webinar series. So if you're interested in learning any technical skill set that's going to help you boost your business, increase your customer base and your efficiencies and your processes, please make sure you tune in to the technical webinars we have sponsored by MBAC and powered by Influence. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you.